I don't know how Egyptian hieroglyphs work,
No.
but like, I'm always like, how hard could it be?
Yeah.
They are pictures.
True. Hey.
Such an asshole.
Figure it out, dummy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What is up?
Oof. I am with the cosmos today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been traveling through the stars.
I've been traveling through certain gates.
Hey, is there a reason for that?
We've been watching Stargate,
Hell yeah. Not SG-1. Stargate.
the proper movie.
The proper movie. But first of all, welcome to
The Low Ceiling.
With,
I'm Pri.
and I'm John.
And today we're talking
about the Roland Emmerich classic, Stargate.
Stargate. Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. we wanted to go back to the 90s because
Yes.
every movie we've done has been post September 11th.
Yeah. You know.
And we thought maybe we could go back to
The good
the
times.
Clinton era, you
Yeah,
know, just because,
Well, people
you know.
had more disposable income. I had tens of rupees.
like
Ugh.
tens of rupees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just buying all kinds of ice cream. You wouldn't even be able to stop me.
Yeah. Oh man, the
That was a
hot
good-
streets of Delhi.
Hot streets of 90s Delhi.
Fuck yeah.
Ah.
Stargate. Really. Well, I don't want to give it away too soon, but a classic movie from my childhood, classic television show. Also, I was a big proponent of the TV show when I was younger.
Mhm.
Filmed here in Vancouver, British Columbia.
I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, the show. The show highly successful.
Yeah. The
Like,
movie, not
I don't
so
know.
much.
I don't know what successful. I don't want to say successful as like just like a banger of a quality show.
Yeah.
But it ran for like 6 or 7 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
And
So I have a tidbit about the show later that we can get into. Because yeah, I'll tell you later.
Oh, the suspense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to say, though, I can't believe Stargate never fell on my radar. And I had never seen this movie or heard of the TV shows.
What's your like basic take on this film? Like, what do you think of it?
I am so shocked that I've never seen it because I really liked it.
You liked it.
It is right up my alley. It is exactly the kind of genre I would watch. I'm a big Roland Emmerich fan anyway. I've seen all of his other peak 90s, just vibe movies, but somehow this one missed the radar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do like this movie a lot. I have a lot of nostalgic feelings for it because I think it was like one of the first. Yeah, we had it on like a VHS tape.
Yeah.
Just a little background on my life. We never had TV growing up until I was like 13, and my aunt had cable. I'm from a very small town. My aunt had cable, and she would record just 8 hours straight of TV, movies, shows for us and send
Nice.
over VHS tapes. And she would write on the spine, like,
Yeah.
The Simpsons, Sopranos, Stargate SG-1, only shows that started with S. But also I did have this, and I remember specifically if there was any movie we really liked, me and Jason would be like, can you not record over it? And my aunt, like, bless her goddamn heart, would like she would like record in and then stop recording and then fast forward the tape to get past the part, if that was even possible. It was really nice. And
God. A
and
savant.
that's how I ended up having basically my own bootleg copy of Stargate.
Nice. Sponsored by your family back in the
Yeah,
90s.
yeah.
That's great.
And so for the details, it's directed by Roland Emmerich.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big deal director.
Yeah.
A little bit before he became the butt of his own joke, unfortunately.
How so?
Well, hold on. It's a 1994 film
Yes.
starring Kurt Russell, James Spader. Those are the headline performers. But I think it's important to note that Jay Davidson is in this movie and is awesome.
Yeah.
And also there's a bit part played by Eric Avari, which he's an Indian actor.
Yeah.
And he is so good.
Yes.
A great bit part player. So Roland Emmerich, my take on him, just to start off, this was just before he became the Roland Emmerich we know today, because just after this movie, he makes Independence Day,
Right.
which is, I mean,
Just
a gem of a movie.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, a bit of a, yeah, it's something like that.
It's nothing short of it.
Yeah, but then he makes
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's really where it becomes a little,
Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah.
good movie. No, not a good movie, but a goofy ass movie for sure.
Good nostalgic value around that time. You know, I know it's a 90s film, but in watching it, almost immediately I forgot it was a 90s film and I thought it was an 80s movie just because of all the tropes, the way the characters look and act, Kurt Russell's hair.
Kurt Russell, full stop. Just
Kurt
being
Russell,
in it.
full
Yeah.
stop. Yeah, 100%. And I know, okay, so there's the titles from the 90s, even between 92 to 96, or what are they? We talked about Jurassic Park, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think RoboCop, Aliens, what else? All the Star Trek movies, Waterworld, Species. You find glimpses of that throughout Stargate.
The mid 90s post Jurassic Park,
Mm-hmm.
I guess are really interesting because like it's like blockbusters. Obviously, blockbusters are the home runs that run studios.
Yeah.
But they're so varied, even
Yeah.
though they're all like big. And like this movie, all of them somehow have a bomb involved at the end that you have to but like they're so big and various, whereas today it's a lot more mono. Like blockbuster movies are superhero movies.
Correct.
Or Christopher Nolan,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Plus little James Cameron thrown in there for flavor after he decides to make a movie after 12 years. But like, yeah, the 90s and Roland Emmerich, like, okay, he you gotta respect the man's ambition for his films.
Totally. Yeah.
He and he has worked with like the same people generally a lot.
Nice.
Mario Kassar and Dean Devlin. And you got to respect the bigness of the ideas and stuff. I'm not sure if the execution, but okay, here's a question. Someday we're going to talk about the plot of this film and actually stop rambling. But here's a question I actually thought of. Is Roland Emmerich, just in quality terms, better than Michael Bay?
Oh, I couldn't even believe you would put them both on the same pedestal.
They're similar filmmakers, though. They make these huge, big, ambitious, kind of like not low stakes, but like low. They don't have too much like philosophical bent behind them.
What do you mean?
They're like explosions and like Michael Bay said, he makes films for 15-year-old boys.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Michael Bay is the Socrates of our time. What do you get out of here? No. I don't even think I wouldn't even think of comparing the two, because all of Roland Emmerich's movies are led by plot first. There's always a story element. There's a beginning, middle, and end. And then I think action is just something that's there. And we're happy that it's there because it's always visually arresting. But then even without all the razzle-dazzle of Stargate, even without all the action scenes, I was still glued. It is as good as, well, it's up there in promise with Indiana Jones, with The Mummy. You know, you don't need a great big fight scene, but you're happy that it's there because you get to see cool mummies at the end of the day.
I would actually say that this movie, compared to lots of future Roland Emmerich works, is pretty restrained.
Totally.
So another thing about it, like, it was made on $55 million budget.
Wow.
Almost made $200 million worldwide, which is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good
for the
good
early
numbers
90s,
for
totally.
the 90s,
Yeah.
But like, I agree that this movie, what I like about this movie is that it kind of does have an idea behind it, which I'll get into, where lots of Roland Emmerich movies don't really. Like Godzilla doesn't really, and that's not his fault. Godzilla doesn't really have that.
True.
It's just, what if this thing was hiding forever and then came up and destroyed New York?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then Independence Day is like all spectacle plus Will Smith, you know? And
Goldblum.
2012 is like the perfect example of like, that's like Roland Emmerich heroin straight to the fucking temple, you know? Like, yeah. Yeah.
Godzilla was the first movie I saw at the cinemas as a child.
Yeah.
And my God, even the final scene when you find out that there's a nest of eggs just laying around, Yeah, I think for a month straight, I just couldn't eat eggs. I just didn't. I gave up on that life immediately. Just a 7-year-old pre was like, nah, fuck that. And then I think another one that I saw at the cinemas later was 2012. No,
Yeah.
God, Day After Tomorrow. Sorry.
Oh, Day After Tomorrow is a fucking just quintessential quintessential film of my teenagehood for sure. I mean, not just to mention that South Park did a beautiful little episode
what a rendition
based off of it.
What I'm saying is that it was equally as impactful for me as a child and also as a teenager, and it was still the same amount of thrill watching a Roland Emmerich film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a good turn your brain off kind of filmmaker.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best part about Godzilla is the whole thing where he introduces the mayor and the mayor's aide as caricatures of Ebert and Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. So I have lots of nostalgic feelings about this film, and I think we should get into the plot a little bit and talk more about it. And so to start off, one thing I want to talk about, I miss the days when there was a dedicated credit sequence.
Yeah.
This movie starts off, having watched this movie twice in the past week, it starts off on a black screen and it's like a Mario Casar production. And then it goes into just the credits while the camera drifts over the Stargate. And the other thing, this film, okay, it's a little thin on the plot. It's a little thin on characters.
Yeah.
The score for this film is too good for this movie.
That's where I was misled because it starts off so powerful as hell.
The music, there's a theme, a notable theme. I remember I was rewatching it and I was like, oh God, like I hear this in my head sometimes because I love this song so much. Like there is like a repetitive, whatever people who know stuff about music call it. And yeah, so it has a dedicated credit sequence, which I absolutely adore. From there, it goes into 8000 BC, somewhere in northern Africa. It's Egypt. Let's cut to the chase.
It's Egypt.
An alien ship, appears to be an alien ship, lands and zaps up little Jay Davidson.
Correct.
And disappears.
Yeah.
And then you cut forward to 1928.
Pyramid of Giza.
On one side, there's these guys are digging up some stuff, and on the other side, Indiana Jones is digging up the Ark of the Covenant. Yeah. And it's amazing that these two discoveries were so close to each other.
Sigourney Weaver's just like, what about me, guys?
So they dig up this big Stargate, and then there's a young girl who steals an artifact, just fucking takes it.
Yeah, why not?
Like she's just like, oh yeah, I like this necklace. It's probably worth millions by the time.
Children.
By the time we cut forward to the future.
Yeah.
And we introduce a little fella named James Spader. Daniel. So
Professor Daniel.
But also he is, without a shadow of a doubt, the Ancient Aliens guy.
Yeah, immediately
he is that meme before that meme.
Yep.
And he's giving a lecture on how all of this stuff that's just not accepted by
mainstream
academia.
Academia.
Basically saying that he didn't know the answer, but he knows that people couldn't have built the pyramids, right?
Correct.
The way they did. Yeah.
And that he says that without so many words, he says that this has to be an alien product because there's no way that the pyramids could have existed in 6000 BC.
Yeah.
And cut to all the other academics shunning him and walking out of his lecture.
Because he sounds like a crazy person.
Yeah. He's a Scientologist of his time, so.
He is like literally the Ancient Aliens was like, inspired by that guy. They were like, find me the dude, the dude in the meme with the hair.
Yeah.
That I swear to God, there's like, find me the real version of that guy.
That's right.
Like aliens.
Aliens, bro.
Yeah. So the older woman who had stolen the necklace, German woman, comes and says, hey, you have no home. You've been evicted. Come work for me at this military base.
Yeah.
Because we're doing some important military stuff.
That's right.
And Daniel immediately is like, you're right. I have no home. Let's go.
Let's do it. CIA without so many words.
And then we're introduced to Kurt Russell,
Mm-hmm.
who is depressed and upset,
Yep.
an alcoholic and
Mhm.
suicidal,
Yeah.
because
His son passes away.
his son had died by accidentally shooting himself.
Right.
Which, just a little plot point here. I wish they hadn't have told us right away,
Fully agree.
because there's a point later where they could have slotted that in.
Yeah.
Because you want the mystery of his character to build a little,
Mm-hmm.
and then because there's a really nice scene where Kurt Russell and the young man he meets on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
where he's trying to teach him how to smoke, and then he
Yeah.
touches his gun and he yells at him, right?
He touches his cigarettes and he yells at him later too.
Yeah.
He says, "No, dangerous, but you can keep the lighter, not the cigarette." So I totally agree.
No, he lets him smoke.
He does, because he then starts to choke on the smoke, the little child, and he laughs it off.
And he says, "Oh, I should quit too," or whatever.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
and he crushes it.
But it is like, it's really interesting because he's found this kind of like son surrogate,
Mhm.
and yeah, and then I wish like later when you find out that Kurt Russell was going to explode the bomb.
Yeah.
I wish that was kind of when you found out what happened to his kid, which is why he has no purpose, why he doesn't want to go back home through this.
Totally agree. Yeah.
That's skipping ahead. We meet Kurt Russell. He's been reactivated. He's coming back
Yeah.
to the military.
Colonel O'Neill.
Jack O'Neill. Okay.
And then once the way they kind of bring him into the fold, Kurt Russell, these two agents go in and go, "What's wrong with that guy?" "Oh, his kid died." And then they drive away.
Clearly done in post, like done in
Yeah.
audio replacement and after, because like
Such a waste.
yeah, I wish it had just been like a scene where it's like, man, that guy's fucked up,
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
that, and then you're like, why? And then it's like, ooh, the
No
mystery of cinema.
suspense. Yeah.
So we cut back to Spader gets
Mm-hmm.
into this military base, and he comes up and he just slams his BDE right on the table in front of Richard Kind, and he's like, "Oh, your translation is wrong."
That's right.
And he just comes in, fucking solves the translation, and Richard Kind is speechless.
Mm.
Poor Richard Kind. Gentle
Poor sweet Richard
gentle
Kind.
man. He needs to drain a fucking abscess on his neck or something.
What's so shocking about James Spader coming in and being like, "I've got the answers," is that this crew of top scientists and big brains in academia are going, "What do these symbols possibly mean?" To what James Spader's like, "Oh, they're not. They're just star signs." Are you telling me all these PhDs in the room couldn't identify a constellation until James Big Dick Energy Spader came in to point that out? That's the Orion. Thanks, guy.
I don't know how Egyptian hieroglyphs work,
No.
but like I'm always like, how hard could it be?
Yeah.
They are pictures.
True. Hey.
Such an asshole.
Figure it out, dummy.
We all have a PhD in this shit.
Yeah.
A man bringing a platter to a table. What is that? Dinner, bitch. Like, what do you mean?
Dinner, bitch.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Anyways.
Sorry to
Sorry
all of
to
Egypt.
all the Egyptologists
Yes.
listening.
No.
That's a big segment of our audience,
No.
and I apologize for
Yeah.
treading on your life's work.
We're canceled on Hieroglyphs Twitter. It's over for us.
Hieroglyphs Twitter. It's a big section of Twitter.
Yeah.
It's really risen in the time since Elon Musk took over.
No one uses real words anymore. It's great.
So essentially, this whole scene, they're looking for a final symbol, a seventh symbol,
Correct.
for something. Spader doesn't really know what, but he's here, takes some, cut forward to the frustration of not being able to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sees it on a newspaper. He sees Orion, the star constellation, and he's found it essentially. And then he goes in and he's like, "I found the seventh symbol. It's this thing." He draws it. And then Richard Kind reveals, he's like, "Well, that's not on the device."
Mm-hmm.
And Spader's like, "What?"
What device?
And then they quite quickly turn the device on and send something through. I would think there would be like months of planning.
No, it's 3 minutes
Yeah.
later. We
It's
got
like
the
literally
Stargate.
they're like, "7 symbol, cool. Turn it on," and then boom, go.
Done.
Yeah. It's like
Well,
not testing an airplane before you
I know
fly it.
there's a lot of like suspension of, your belief, but like
Where?
the device, to be fair, has like 40 symbols, right? And they have to get the correct 7 in the right order.
Well, yeah, what's his face? The one guy says later, he's like,
Yeah.
there's a like so many combinations, because there's
Totally.
endless combinations. You could never explore them all.
Mm-hmm.
Although you could make a 7-season television show that does explore many of them.
There
so
you go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking sick TV show. Yeah. So they send a probe through, and the probe turns around and photographs another device.
Yes.
It's like, hey, you can breathe on this planet. It's
Mhm.
perfect. Some real soft sci-fi stuff where it's just kind of like, this planet is exactly like Earth,
Yeah.
and y'all can go through.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like, they're like, oh, what should we do? How do we know how we can get back? And James Spader says, I can do it. I can decipher it on the other side and bring us back.
Mm-hmm.
Not true.
Not
As
true.
we
He has
find
no
out.
idea the fuck he's doing.
Yeah. So they head through the Stargate, which this is where the big like special effects come in,
Correct.
which is pretty cool. Like, I do like that. It's pretty admirable for the time.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I've always like really liked that when they get sucked through and it just like whips them through space and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's
A
really
good,
I think it's really cool.
delicious wormhole. I know, I'm a
Yeah.
sucker for it.
Yeah.
That's and the way they kind of show the entry portal of Stargate, which is like a gooey ectoplasmy, like a liquid thing that you walk into and
Yeah.
then emerge out the other side, which is just like a regular planet, except it's probably Egypt-esque.
Yeah. I like how they basically like get thrown out the other side, and it's like super chaotic, and
Yeah.
then like he like opens his eyes and Jack's there. He's like, it's okay. Yeah, it's cool. I don't know. I like that scene a lot. There's a scene, I think, in the show, when the Stargate turns on and it throws out a big column of like watery substance.
Light, yeah.
There's a scene in the show where that sucks people in
Oh.
accidentally, because someone turns it on, but there's people still in the room, and it sucks a bunch of people through it. It's cool. It's
Nice.
cool stuff. Yeah. Slick stuff.
Neat stuff.
Yeah, so they're there. It looks like Egypt. They walk outside. It looks hella Egyptian.
It's basically Dune.
It's Dune. There's a pyramid exactly like one of the Egyptian pyramids
Yeah.
on top of this little
Dune.
There's a little structure as well with
Oh,
two
right.
columns that look just like the Cleopatra's Needles.
Yeah.
Throwback to
Good.
From Hell.
Good From Hell reference
Yeah,
there.
From Hell. Just referencing From Hell there. And so Spader reveals that he can't get back because he thought the symbols would all be there on the other side, but he
Mhm.
can't find the 7th symbol either.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating, to say the least.
It's a good thing that he only has to decipher one symbol that's kind of off. So,
Yeah. Which is, I mean,
but it could be whatever.
not
It
to
could be
skip
like
ahead,
a banana.
but the whole issue in the film is finding the one symbol, basically.
Right.
That's what can get them home. That is the driving point of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the Marines, Kowalski, the other guy,
Yeah.
the black guy who dies,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because he's the only black man in the film, which is a little bit too tropey.
It's a good thing they take all of 6 people to go into this extraterrestrial
Yeah.
realm,
Yeah.
and one nerdy James Spader. I have to say, I had never seen Stargate, right? So the first thing I saw James Spader in was probably
Crash.
Secretary and Boston Legal, just years and years. So just my small brain just kept waiting for him to whip out a briefcase and then gaslight everyone in the room, but he didn't. He just plays this sweet nerd. So I couldn't suspend my disbelief that James Spader is a sweet nerdy guy.
I actually think that all of the key performances in this film are quite good.
They're great. It's not.
I think Spader is really inhabiting this character in such a good way, and even Russell too.
Yeah.
Like Kurt Russell can sometimes come across as just like not caring that much.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little Harrison Ford-esque in that way, but in this one, I think he's really doing quite a good job.
Kurt Russell, totally fine, because that hair does all that work for him.
Yeah.
The flat top, spiky military do.
Sad
Excellent.
eyes.
Yeah, sad eyes.
Also, his fucking dope black little commando hat. Oh, so
Oh.
good. I think I have like an action figure of this character when I was younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But James Spader, no, I just couldn't. I wanted him in a suit and tie the whole time, just being like, Your Honor, you're a piece of shit, and case dismissed.
is it Spader in Crash?
Yeah, he is.
In
but like that
Cronenberg's Crash.
young Pre wouldn't have known it.
No.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
He probably wouldn't have seen that movie.
No. I think it was banned nationally. So no.
Probably, yeah.
Highly recommend
that
watching
movie
Crash.
that's on the
Fucking
docket
fantastic.
for us, I think.
Oh yeah, we should come back to it.
Fuck yeah.
Done.
Such a romantic evening when we watched that together.
Aw.
So great.
Babe.
There's nothing more you like than a candlelit dinner and settling down to watch David Cronenberg's Crash.
Fuck a car.
Yeah.
That's great.
Watch a bunch of people fuck a car.
Podcast
ramming their dick in a tailpipe.
Aw, babe.
It's a real classic. So essentially Daniel finds a beastie, a big hairy animal.
That's right.
So he finds an animal, he feeds it a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
And then he sees that there's a harness on the animal. It's domesticated.
Mm-hmm.
And
Good touch, by the way. I was glad he said that out loud because
you know what? Okay. You know what I like about his character is like, despite his batshit wackadoo theories that are not accepted by academia, like he's smart, but he's also smart in like, he's very calm about it. Like they're like, though Jack O'Neill's like, get away from the animal. And he's like, it's got a harness. It's domesticated.
Yeah.
And then the animal drags him away across the desert and they find a large mine.
Right.
With all of these humans mining stuff.
What?
And as we find out later, they're mining material for the Stargate, the powerful device that can whip you across the galaxy.
All right.
And just make you shit your pants as you go through. So they're mining that material. They're basically slaves. Writing is not allowed. And the people, they take them back to their settlement, which is it's not like nomadic, but it's a very basic kind of settlement kind of thing. They introduce them to all these people. Daniel meets his, this just hottie. Shaori. Sorry. Apologies to everyone who speaks that language. I cannot pronounce it. And so, I mean, pretty wild that they, again, another like soft sci-fi touch. They're not like, can you imagine like going across the galaxy and meeting other humans? That would like melt your fucking brain.
Oh my God.
And they're just kind of like,
We're here.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
They want to go back, but a sandstorm whips in and they're trapped at this settlement.
Right.
That's O'Neill, Spader, the African-American gentleman, and
Kowalski?
Yeah, Kowalski. Kowalski's there. Kowalski. And then I keep saying the African-American guy. I don't remember his name, unfortunately. It sucks. He's like unnamed and then he dies.
Yeah. His let's just call him Jarrett.
Jarrett. Okay. And then back at, so they're there and they signal the other guys. They're like, we're not coming back. We're staying here. They have dinner with all the people. This is where Eric Avari comes in. He is Kasuf. He is the leader of these people. Great little bit part.
Yeah.
It must be hard to like learn is the language fake or is it like an Egyptian kind of thing? Because I read on the Wikipedia that they had like a language expert who would try to get things accurate, but I was like, accurate to what? Like, is the language made up or is it based on something in real life?
Real life? Possibly, because in the opening scene of the film, they do, the aliens do pull up people from Earth, right? So that society, whatever language they spoke then, which is now defunct and no one knows, at least they maintain the pronunciation of certain words in that language, and that's what they try to keep forward.
It would be really, I guess we should have done this research, but it would be really amazing if like it was an older version of Egypt something, like that would be a really cool touch.
Spoken hieroglyphics.
But
the aliens do a setup where reading and writing, like you said, is forbidden, and that is why all they have in terms of language is what they moan at each other.
And symbols.
Yeah, and symbols.
As we reveal in a bit. But also just like, so Eric Avari, good bit part in this. But the difficulty of having to act in a fake or not native language must be hard. Jay Davidson also does it too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it
they
must
do
be
a fantastic
tough.
job.
They do great. Yeah. We're going to get to Jay Davidson in a minute, and I want to talk a little more about him.
Yeah.
So, they eat a weird turtle creature, and then Kasuf gives Daniel his daughter, essentially.
Yeah. Here's my plaything.
To, like, marry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but, it's sweet because they kind of have a crush on each other.
Yeah.
And then Daniel learns she writes something in the sand for him, which
Mm-hmm.
is forbidden, but Daniel asks her, where has she seen this symbol? And she takes him. Cut back at the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Sandstorm fucking everything up. And then there's a big lightning storm, some rumbling.
Yeah.
Some shit's happening.
Half of
And-
SEAL Team 6 is just like, oh no, what do we do out here in the desert?
Yeah.
So they run back into the pyramids for shelter.
And they meet the ghost of Osama bin no, so
Osama bin Alien.
SEAL Team 6 gets their asses handed to them
Yeah.
by someone. We don't really
Mhm.
see who.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta say, another thing that like my childhood brain kind of loves about this movie, I have a real soft spot for distorted voice stuff.
Yeah.
And I love the way that the bad guys talk in this.
That's
I
right.
love it. I think
That's-
it's fucking dope.
That's where I thought this movie was. Am I in the 80s now? Because the bad guys are extremely bad guys.
Oh yeah.
And the
They-
robot voices are extremely robot voices.
Essentially, they get their asses kicked, and one of them looks up and sees that this guy has what looks like a large jackal face
Yes.
and blue glowing eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty dope.
The sci-fi Egyptian baddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guys are kidnapped and they're brought up to this pyramid that has landed on top of the pyramid, a spaceship pyramid, where they meet Ra, the sun god,
Played by
Jay
Jay
Davidson.
Davidson.
Jay Davidson, really good in this movie. He might be the best performance. I think he's kind of locked into this like villain thing.
Totally.
He's helped by his cool voice,
Mm-hmm.
and he is looking hot as ever.
Oh, he's got this
This-
very super sexy androgynous look going.
Beautiful. His eyes glow.
Gorgeous.
Because he's really a hideous alien. Oh, sorry, which Daniel later finds these hieroglyphs that explain that there was an alien guy
Mm-hmm.
who wanted to learn the secrets of immortality. He traveled across the galaxy. He found humans. He harvests humans. He uses their bodies
Right.
to repair, because he has a sarcophagus that repairs him constantly, which is why he looks so youthful and beautiful.
Mhm. That alien body, originally, I believe, and I might be wrong, is in an Asgardian form. Not like Thor, right? Thor is more human looking, but the Asgard form is more alien looking. It's like ancient Asgardian.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to assert their dominance on planet Earth, they have to take a human form, and that's why he takes the form of Ra, the sun god.
Well, he is the actual sun god.
He
right?
is the actual
he
sun
is
god,
the
yeah.
inspiration for Ra in Egypt.
Got it.
And then he brings a bunch of humans to the planet to mine Stargate material, which is
Mhm.
what we find out, basically. So Jay Davidson reveals himself, and he's like, I'm back, bitches. So I read a little bit about Jay Davidson. Obviously a huge, big deal in The Crying Game. Have you ever seen The Crying Game?
No.
It's a good movie. I'm not sure. I'm not one to comment on whether it's aged well or poorly with its stuff about trans people, but it is like a good, well-made movie.
Oh, wow.
Neil Jordan film, and Jay Davidson, big debut in that. I believe won or was nominated for an Academy Award.
Oh, The Crying Game, of course. Oh, I
yeah.
love The Crying Game. Holy shit.
It's good.
Oh, yeah.
And then he does Stargate, and then fucking caps it.
Just
done.
Yeah.
He
done.
got out of acting. He didn't like being famous,
Yep.
and like I mean, mad respect.
Yeah.
you know.
Two huge bangers. Good
Two
job.
good roles. Does a good job,
Mhm.
and then goes into modeling, and then
That's it.
yeah, good for him. I do think he is doing the best he possibly can in this movie. I think he plays a really good villain, and yeah,
And it's very convincing. Like scene 1, you already know he's just surrounded by a crew of small children.
slaves,
This
yeah.
is very Michael Jackson-esque, kind of popping up with my children. They will protect me when I'm shot at.
Yeah.
So it's great.
There's also like there's a great scenes of him, like them putting on his like adornments and stuff. I really like that. Like, you know, when he's sitting in that area and he puts both his hands out straight and they put the rings on his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that stuff is like really cool, actually.
Yeah.
And basically he is like a slave lord.
It's a godlike entity anyway. Yeah.
And then so we meet Raw, we meet his badass baddies. In the morning, Jack and Daniel and the other guys return to the pyramid and they find that, oops, there's another pyramid on top of it. They go in, they find a little resistance from the bad baddies with the staff guns and the cool helmets. And then Jack reveals he has a bomb with him, a nuclear bomb, I guess. I don't know, I guess.
It is, yeah. It's a big bad nuke that no one knows about except for
him. Yeah. Which we see him earlier. We kind of skipped over that part. But we see him earlier taking it apart and priming it and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we find out he confesses that he was like, if we encounter resistance, I was meant to stay behind and blow the whole thing, blow the Stargate.
Yeah.
You know, bad news for everybody. But what happens is that they get kidnapped by Ra anyway, who also kidnaps their bomb. And he's like, oh, sorry. Yeah, their bomb is gone. Ra has taken the bomb.
Ra has taken the bomb without the people, right? So he took it because he knows what that bomb is able to do. He already knows that, human civilization has succeeded to the point that they've taken all these minerals and created a weapon of destruction. However, with this added alien metal that they have on planet Ra, he plans to send the bomb back with this metal so that they can make something, so the humans can make something even more dangerous and even more destructive.
Yeah. To
collapse a civilization and more.
Yeah, this is all explained. Daniel gets shot and then Daniel gets healed in the Ra sarcophagus. And Ra says that's the plan, basically. This is the plan. He's going to send it back through the Stargate and destroy Earth. And then he says Daniel will serve him by executing his friends.
That's right.
Essentially. And from there, you're basically like getting into the end of the plot. They go out. Daniel is given one of those staff guns. Bad move by Ra to do that. Also, the part where they like carry him out on that chair and he's got that cool fucking sarcophagus-like mask on.
Head, yeah.
So sick. They also find out that the guys in the masks are all humans.
Yeah.
Including Academy Award nominee Djimon Hounsou.
Hey,
showing up.
Blood Diamond, baby.
Oh, I love him.
He's
such a good
excellent.
actor. Such a good actor.
Yeah.
And Jack is like, oh, Daniel's alive. He's been healed by the sarcophagus. He's about to shoot us. Then Daniel sees that all the kids from the village have pillaged all the military weapons and are about to go ape shit.
All the kids now know how to work an AK. And they're just brah, 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 right up on the
and pyramid. So Daniel turns the gun on the other fellows and then they take off into the desert fantastic. And at this place, they take him to like a secret place where Daniel finds the seventh symbol. So they head off and they find the second symbol and Daniel says, we can go home from this.
That's it.
So they got to find a way to get back to the Stargate. And all that to say, it really boils down to a pretty basic plot ending where, the guys in the planes are shooting at the one guys. Daniel is trying to save Shaori after she gets shot. Yeah. He has to take her up to the Ra casket. And then Jack O'Neill has to fist fight Horus, the jackal. And gotta say, one of the sickest, most violent deaths in cinema.
They have the transportation device. They trigger it so it falls on the villain's head, thereby transporting the rest of his corpse.
Swapping Daniel and Shaori for his head.
Perfect.
Say hello to King Tut for me.
Asshole. That's great. Just pure cheese. And I love a good campy dialogue. So I was happy that they had a moment for Kurt Russell in there outside of his broodiness.
Also, so we have to also point out, Ra has this like hand bracelet thing, this hand glove that he can basically scramble your brains to death with, which he almost does to Daniel until they send the space elevator to kill the other guy.
Until they swap bodies.
I'm going to bring that up when I talk about this Stargate SG-1 thing.
Okay.
Because it's so weird. Okay. So, and then they find out they've rigged the bomb and they cannot turn the timer off.
Mm-hmm.
And so they send the bomb through the elevator up into this spaceship.
Yeah.
In, I think, my favorite small moment when Ra is like taking off.
Yeah.
And then he looks over and he sees the thing opening and he walks over and you can see, this is why he's a good actor. You can see in his eyes, he's like, I am fucked.
Yeah.
And
his alien eyes are so expressive.
Yeah.
But then to that point, you know how you kind of see Jay Davidson face changing back into that Asgardian alien form. So I don't know. Maybe it's a suspense thing, and I've never seen the TV shows, right? So does he, and maybe we don't know, does he transform into that Asgardian form and continue to live? Or does he get obliterated and die to death?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
So
the suspense. Okay.
So he's destroyed. His ship is destroyed. The people on the planet are free.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel decides to stay with his love, Shaori, and Jack gets to go home.
Yeah.
And I like that ending. I think it's really cool. One thing I have mad respect for about that ending is it ends with Jack stepping through the Stargate, and there's no like back on Earth. He's like, man, it was fucked up over there.
Yeah. He just goes into the void, and we don't know where he ends
He's
up.
He's like, ooh, we saw some crazy shit.
Also, hotties. Planet hottie, got mad hotties.
There's no way that like, I mean, I guess maybe the show explores this, but there's no way that today, like the government of the United States wouldn't be like, hey, are there any more of those Stargate stones over there? Because we could use some of those over here. I bet the TV show would touch on it because that is why it's so wildly successful, right? Compared to the movie itself, the shows are a big success. The show is more scientific in its nature. Like it is about like this little secret program. I believe if I remember, so I watched this when I was like fucking 12, like 10 to 12 essentially. And if I remember correctly, it's very much like Stargate, it's like the X-Files. Yeah. That's what it's comparable to. Mm-hmm. The Stargate program is a little fringe program in the U.S. military that's always in danger of getting shut down because it might be too dangerous. Yeah. It always is too dangerous. Yeah. And yeah. And so that's how the movie ends. And yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's the plot. I was talking to my buddy who is German, and okay, no spoilers. She is Roland Emmerich. So even as a kid in Germany, she mentioned that Stargate was a huge success. So was it who I'm thinking of? Yeah, it is. Yeah, with naming no names. That seems like something that they would really like. This movie seems like something that she would really protecting her identity on this super popular show. But yeah, Germans, man, they love a good Roland Emmerich film. Yeah, why not? Why not? So okay. Just a little context for the TV show that I remember watching. In the TV show, they go back through the Stargate to find Daniel in the pilot and bring Daniel back because they need him for some reason. Jack O'Neill is played by Richard Dean Anderson. Good, really great performance. Hell yeah. There's two other characters introduced. Amanda Tapping plays a doctor, and then the guy, God damn it, Christopher Judge plays one of the alien characters who they bring back to help them. He ends up switching sides with them. So as for Ra, Ra did die, but he's been replaced as like a galaxy lord by this man named Apophis. Oh, right. Oh, fantastic. So, okay. Yeah. And so it's a lot more lore and science fiction heavy. Obviously, they really expand on the movie in ways that the movie never anticipated. Now, the weird thing about the pilot, so broadcast on Showtime, right? Yeah. I must have been like 9 or 10 when I saw it. There is a full frontal nude shot of a Showtime? Woman. Yeah, this is like 1996, like Hell 96, yeah. 97. And I remember as a kid being like, that woman is totally naked. And then for years being like, did I imagine that? But it's true. It's actually like, for some reason they were able to do it
Wow.
because it was a non-sexual scene, because Apophis is using his hand thing on her to scramble her brain.
Wow. And her eggs, I guess.
Well, but
damn,
it was like, and then later in later editions they cut it out because you like can't do that unless you're HBO apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, 96, a lawless wasteland for Showtime.
Yeah, it was so weird. I thought it was
want.
like for the longest time it was a myth, and then not until a couple years ago I was like, did I like the Berenstein Bears thing?
Yeah.
I was like, did I fucking imagine that completely? But no, I didn't. It's a real thing.
The Mandela effect, but it's for boobs. It's great.
Yeah. You look like you're looking for something.
I was just going to say, the way they showed the alien technology in their costumes when Ra and his henchmen are wearing that headgear, and the way it kind of collapses open to reveal the human faces.
Sick.
Fucking excellent.
Yes.
All of that, put all your VFX money into that shit. And even the Event Horizon scene at the end when Ra's spaceship explodes and there's this cool over the planet effect of like a ring around a so good.
I think it was like at the time mostly lauded for its special effects.
Yeah.
Because like they are pretty good.
Well
for
deserved.
that time,
yeah.
You know, in a time when like special effects was still in like its nascent.
100%.
Like just post Jurassic Park, but like really good shit. Yeah.
It's for me, that shit is up there with Independence Day. And what is that, like 2 years apart from each other, those films?
Yeah.
So yeah.
94,
man.
96.
Good job, Roland.
Yeah.
Did it again, you son of a gun.
You ready for this top 5? It's my turn.
Oh shit.
My turn today.
Yay.
My turn. And I want to just get into some of the background of what Stargate is really about. And what Stargate is really about is the ancient astronaut theory. Nice. Which is a dumb theory that only stupid people really believe. But
what are we top 5ing? Are we top 5ing?
I'll get into it.
Okay.
But like, so the ancient astronaut theory is basically the idea that ancient civilizations were visited by aliens for some reason, maybe to advance technology to do such and such, yada yada, which is silly, because why would they, you know?
Hey, why does Arrival do it then? Because, well, maybe they don't go back to ancient
yeah,
civilization.
that doesn't count. That's a present day. They're visiting present day.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not ancient astronaut theory if it's not ancient.
Oh, maybe I missed it then, because I thought Arrival is that the fact that the aliens have been coming and going from Earth forever, and now that they've noticed that Earth has made a great deal of progress as a civilization, they need Earth's help to help themselves.
Listen, they just arrive, okay?
they be arriving.
Forrest Whitaker says it.
Okay.
They just arrive.
They just arrive.
Maybe I missed that. Maybe you're right, but it's similar. It's not, you're not far off, but it's not going to be in my top 5, because I'm going to talk about the top 5 ancient astronaut pieces of media.
Hell yeah.
That use this theory. Okay. So but that's the idea, right? And it's prevalent in lots of media. It makes for really cool story ideas. In reality, it's ridiculous to think that would ever happen.
A girl can dream.
Yeah. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to go from number 5. And I'm actually going to switch around what I had originally.
Okay.
So number 5, The Thing.
Ooh.
Only because the Thing, it's not a big plot point in The Thing, but they do mention it. They do mention, one of the guys says that people have thought that, he mentions the theory, right?
Right.
And the Thing itself has been frozen in ice for like 100,000 years.
Correct.
Something, right?
Yeah.
So not the best example, but an example.
Oh, it's up
also
there.
some honorable mentions. The MCU, all of it is essentially about that. Like, it is like the Marvel universe is about ancient astronauts.
All aliens everywhere, baby. Yeah. I mean, Asgard, of course.
Also, I have you seen the Eternals?
I have seen the Eternals.
So
yes.
I haven't.
Okay.
But one thing I heard was that one of the most stupid and offensive plot lines in the Eternals is that Brian Tyree Henry teaches humans how to make a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That is so stupid.
He implanted that idea into an Oppenheimer brain.
Well, this is the whole problem with the theory.
Right.
And on the big picture, Sean Fennessy said it during the Eternals episode, was that like it completely takes away from both human ingenuity and humans.
Totally.
What's humans
like curiosity or any of
but also like takes the blame for horrible things like the nuclear bomb off the shoulders of humanity and places it on the shoulders of Paperboy.
Yeah. Sorry guys, God's done goofed up.
Okay, so The Thing, that's number 5.
Nice.
Number 4, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Ooh.
I mean, it is really about that, the structure appearing to the apes.
Nice.
And advancing humanity forward.
Wow, that's number 4, hey? Oh my God.
Well, it's not about the quality of the film, it's about the quality of the interpretation of the theory.
The tech itself, hey? Even how they kind of use it, how it's in the plot.
Yeah.
Cool.
So number 3 could arguably be number 1 just because of the sheer breadth of content.
Yeah.
The X-Files, the entire series. They talk about it but the X-Files encompasses every whack theory ever. So
coolest alien tech of all time. Yeah.
Number 2, Stargate. I actually think Stargate is probably Stargate might be, I mean, one of the most pure examples of it.
Totally. It's more sophisticated.
It
than
literally shows it clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And he says it like it's so clear. But my favorite and the best one.
Number 1.
Do you have a guess? It's on the tip of your tongue.
You know what? What if I say it and it's not it?
Go for it.
Is it Men in Black?
No.
Okay, go on.
Prometheus.
Oh shit.
Prometheus is
so much better.
So
oh fuck yeah.
Because of Prometheus, the whole Alien franchise and the Alien vs Predator franchise, and I guess the Predator franchise, all rotate around this idea as well.
Oh my God.
Essentially.
Ooh.
Which is cool. And
yeah, but I love Prometheus. Yeah. Oh wow, so aliens. Men in Black.
Technically. Not Men in Black.
Well, like there are.
Well, Men in Black would have to, by virtue of the plot, they like
bring it into the
aliens
fold
have existed for forever and been visiting Earth. But it's not so much that like it doesn't quite get into that theory, I don't think, the way that these other films do.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, solid list. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like this movie. I know people might ask after we've built up a long list of cinema's works that they're like, hey guys, why don't you do movies that people like? And my response to that is always, there's lots of podcasts that talk about movies that people like.
Totally.
So if you want to go hear people vamp about how good Inglourious Bastards is, there's a million other places you can go and do that. And that's not the service we provide, you know?
This is for movies that coulda, shoulda, woulda, but do.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, maybe did, but often didn't.
Stargate. Stargate. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. It's been the Low Ceiling.
Bye.
Bye.